Hi there. I'm Darren Howard. This is CFTG. We're going to chill just for a bit here for a really quick explanation on what's going on and what CFTG's making happen. This is recorded on February the 1st, 2023 in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, an international city that isn't full of oil workers, and yeah, we're not all racists. The real facts that we're inheriting a nightmare is the reason why CFTG is stepping out and we've started things up again in 2023. We need the right wing and left wing to be represented in a center wing argument. We need to not incorporate them. We need them to stand on our right side and our left side while the center wing moves forward with them to fix that which must be fixed. Right now across the country, they're talking about police brutality again. For over 12 years now, I have been a frontline advocate for poverty, people who are impoverished, and for fixing things like police brutality and government responsibility. My question always is, why are we still dealing with this? Why have not the racist cops been either educated out or spun out? Because we've known about it for a decade. In Calgary, why are cops allowed to wear a racist thin blue line patch on their uniforms? Why is the question. The answer is very simple. The government are just a group of committees who are irresponsible. Their only focus is justifying spending specific budgets and enacting specific actions within the general public. Don't overcomplicate it. The government is just a committee that's screwing up and gaining speed. But the most important thing is we, as citizens, cannot hold them accountable when they have excessive destructive power over our lives. They can lie to us, they can cheat, they can be obviously racist and violent for decades, and they will not change. The CBC in Maclean's magazine ran a story about the RCMP in Canada that said that the culture itself was dysfunctional and beyond repair. If we extend that logic, we can easily say the bureaucrats, that small committees that run City Hall, have a dysfunctional culture that is excessively destructive and violent and is extraordinarily irresponsible. CFTG, quite seriously, is going to say it. The government right now, at the provincial, local, and above all the federal level, is criminally negligent, causing death. So I'm welcoming you to give me 1 minute, and I'm going to run this down for you real quick. And we're going to play some great music. We're going to get back to having a lot of fun. But I want you to just listen to this one rundown on what we're inheriting and how easy it is to fix. Number one, we're inheriting a $1.2 trillion debt from the Bank of Canada at the federal level. It's $1.2 trillion, and they made it up from nothing. It's fiat currency. Look it up. It's first-year economics. That entire debt that runs up by hundreds of millions of dollars a day because of interest charges the federal government allows the Bank of Canada to charge. Because they add interest, we're adding hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. It's fiat currency. They made it up from nothing. Mainstream isn't telling you that. But that's holding back the next Einstein from being cultivated in Canada. That's holding back us curing cancer. Every year, the federal government has a $462 billion budget. It would take $10 billion in reformatting EI and welfare, and they could end small poverty by installing universal basic income and making sure people had food for heat and money for food and heat. I mean, come on. You have a $462 billion budget. It would cost $10 billion and a reshuffling. and you could end small poverty, but they don't. They took out a loan for $700 billion for weapons, but they won't spend $10 billion out of their $462 billion to make sure children and seniors are eating. That's insane. That's sick. Right now, the corporations are screwing all Canadians. Everyone. It doesn't make any difference what province you're in. American corporations specifically have monopolized the Canadian food market and are now destroying Canadian families by jacking up prices and not ensuring that prices go down because of the monopolization. When an organization grows larger and all of a sudden it cuts down the number of employees, it's making more profit. These corporations are making record profits off your food bill. The most important thing to remember is that Loblaws, Walmart, Safeway, Save on Foods, all of these American chains are profiting by raping the most impoverished people in Canada. 1 in 5 people is being economically raped by Loblaws right now. What is the government doing about that? This small committee of bureaucrats with unlimited destructive power. Because their cheerleader Justin Trudeau said we shouldn't tax them. No. Because they'll just add the price to our bill. So what he's doing is admitting they're evil fucking bastards screwing over fucking children and fucking seniors, leaving people to starve to death and go to fucking food banks for record profits, but he doesn't want to do anything about it? How fucking sick is that? And now he, Justin Trudeau, and the federal Liberals have said the most amazing thing. Okay? They said that the corporations, the corporate news, that's brought to you by the grocery stores, banks, and fuel companies that are fucking us. They're the only allowable news. So you can't have anything else. Anything else is misinformation. So unless the government says it, or the corporations that are raping us says it, it's not considered news. These are extraordinarily small number of people, a small number of bureaucrats in Ottawa, a very small number of bureaucrats in the province, and a very small number of bureaucrats in the city level who are enforcing this. It's a small bureaucracy. It really is. You can look up their names. So now they want the guys who are bringing us the rape, the economic rape, to be the only news allowable. So you're inheriting that. But the most important thing comes from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And apparently now Kelowna, maybe some other jurisdictions, we don't know. If you were born after 1965, this is the most cataclysmic piece of news that there is ever. They are outlawing protesting against the government. You can't gather groups and organize groups to protest against what the government is doing. This small number of bureaucrats enforcing corporate fascism, causing children and seniors to die hungry, alone, homeless. Okay? You can't question them, and now you cannot gather in public because 1, 2, and 3 people at City Hall said you cannot protest the government in public as an organized group. Right now, Canadians have a historically low violent crime rate, and we have since the year 2000 and about a decade before that. The violent crime rate is so low, they've criminalized domestic disputes to give them the right to call us dangerous animals. And that's what it comes down to. An extremely small number of bureaucrats at City Hall and at the corporations running our monopolies have determined that we are just dangerous animals that need to be controlled instead of educated people who are capable of building a new world. You're inheriting insanity. We can solve it. It's easy to solve. And before COVID, we were well on our way to solving it. This is CFTG. I'm Darren Howard. Let the solution begin. As protected under Section 2 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, using media described under International Fair Usage Copyright Law, I'm proud to present a voice against the insanity of what we're inheriting, and criminally negligent government with excessive violent and destructive power that's not responsible to us. Their actions are causing children and seniors to go hungry, to choose between food and rent. And that's just sick when they're all recording record profits. The corporations that have monopolized our lives and are leaving us without cold medication have recorded record profits across the country. And Justin Trudeau himself has raised his personal wealth by $65 million. So we're going to stand up and we're going to fight. If you're listening to this and you're fed up, you are part of the revolution. We're going to revolt against them by liking each other and caring for each other. We're going to revolt against them by taking care of the poor, by feeding people who are hungry, and by phasing out the corporate bullshit that we're inheriting.